I'm not even going to keep an eye on the time. I'm going to keep an eye on the temperature.
Yeah.
Starts hitting 80 and we're out of here.
Yeah.
Pietro Alexander,
Yep.
welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Mark.
You're not one of our traditional guests,
Yep.
right? You've been in the real estate business for 6 months now,
Yeah.
but you reached out to me. I'm actually going to read your initial message that you sent to me on Instagram,
Yep.
and then I'm going to read the email you sent me, and we're going to start there.
Sure.
If that's
Let's
all right
do
with
it.
you?
Yeah.
Okay, let me just dig this up. I don't have my glasses, so bear with me.
It was a forward
I
approach.
sound like an old man. Yeah, and that's why you're here.
Yeah.
I love it. I love the ambition and the aggressiveness. So, you just sent me a random text message on Instagram.
Yep.
I want to come on your podcast. Let's get on a call, and I'll prove to you why I'm worth your time.
Yeah.
And I flipped you my email.
Yep.
And the next day, I woke up to a email from you, which I'm also going to read. It's a little bit long, so bear with me to
Yeah.
the listeners and to yourself. Hi, Mark. I'll get straight to the point. Your work has been a huge inspiration to me, and I'm reaching out in hopes of being a guest on your podcast. Just so you know a little about me. My name is Pietro Alexander. I am 20 years old. I'm a real estate agent, and I just recently got my first listing. Before you stop reading, now, hear me out. Prior to diving into real estate, I sold medical waste contracts, scaled up to hospital contracts, and then ventured into waste energy systems, selling to governments and countries. Before that, I started a digital marketing agency, which honestly tanked, which I love the humbleness there. I also tried drop shipping, and that failed as well. I have only been a realtor for around 6 months, but my first listing is a commercial plaza, and I have 2 more lined up that will be listed shortly.
Yeah.
Not the typical newbie agent story. Alongside those plazas, I also have a development that I'm exclusively selling in Ottawa,
Yep.
which we're going to talk about after this.
Sure.
I believe my unique path, after the podcast, I believe my unique path, experience, young age, and entrepreneurial drive could make that for an interesting podcast, conversation between you and I. Additionally, I feel like you'll be able to reach a broader audience and grow your social media presence by talking to someone my age, which I, in turn, will inspire young men and women to step up to the plate and build something of their own. Mm-hmm. If you're asking yourself right now, what's in it for me? Here's my reason. Why I truly want to be on the podcast. My goal in life is to inspire people, young people. I want to tell my story of a high school daydreamer, which I was as well, who barely passed class, which I barely passed class, and everyone doubted, turned driven, successful entrepreneur. If you're open to it, please let me know via the email or DM me on Instagram. If it doesn't align with your plans, no hard feelings, that's a shot in the dark at the end of the day. I am confident our paths will cross again, potentially in the business context. Thanks for your time, Mark. I really like that. I love the initiative.
Thanks.
Right, remind me of myself, and I have a story that I'll tell you about this afterwards. That it really, your email resonated with me, right? So, which is why you're here. So, tell me what made you reach out, and tell me why you want to come here today, and we'll take it from there.
Honestly, I've always enjoyed putting myself in positions where I'm very nervous or I'm very it's a stressful situation. And I recently did a public speaking event at Western University. I hadn't done public speaking in years, and that was a challenge for me. Alongside with this is something that's new. And I figured exposing myself as much as possible to the public's eye and to individuals like yourself as well would be not only good in the business context, but also developing myself as a person, right? And I reached out because you're a successful person that I want to sit down and talk to and listen to, and you're going to have a lot of insight for me. And I feel like I could bring a lot of insight for you as well. So I reached out, and I just did it in a very straightforward way. As we said before, I think that no amount of money has ever bought a second of time. So I said to you very straight up, I want to be on the podcast. Let's hop on a call or email, and I'll tell you why. So that's my reason for reaching out, is just to be straightforward and want to put myself out there, right?
That's great. I love it.
Yeah.
The public speaking event that you did, Western, you said?
Yeah.
What was that for?
It was for the real estate club there.
Okay.
I got reached out to on Instagram from the videos that I do. And it was a representative from the university. And they just said, listen, we want to have you do an event there. We'd love to hear you speak. Kind of, because as you know, I'm 20 years old. And being young in this industry is not uncommon. But, you more or less see, 26, 27, 30, 40, 50-year-olds in this industry as opposed to a 20-year-old out of high school, right? So I did that event to kind of give an insight of what it's like being young in the industry and the challenges that I've had and kind of where my headspace is and what my plans are in the future, right? And that's kind of what I spoke about there.
Yeah, I think it's great, given your age and your drive and ambition and your lack of fear to reach out to people that you see at a different point in their careers, right? I think it will go a long way, because a lot of agents, this is their second career. Like a lot of people that are successful in this business or in this business, it's actually their second career, right? So not many people start out at a young age like you, and so to gain experience, because you're not going to be, getting dozens and dozens of listings in your first year on the job, but surrounding yourself with people that have that experience and can elevate the game for you, I think is really important at this point, right?
100%, right? And it's also, like you said, surrounding myself around those type of people is important. I like to surround myself around, for lack of a better word, dogs, just hard workers, tough people, because you'll never learn and grow if you surround yourself around people that are less experienced than you, less successful than you. So I always like to surround myself with people that are at a further level that where I want to be in life, and I could take what they do on a daily basis and learn from it. And learning from your mistakes, failure is important, but you could be smart with it and learn from others' mistakes as well and grow off of that. So that's kind of why I like surrounding myself with people like yourself at my brokerage as well. A lot of young dogs and in the business world too. And I wasn't afraid to reach out to, when I was in the medical waste sales industry, reaching out to these big clinics and the big players there, and then going into hospital groups as well, into those massive meetings and shaking hands with some literal billionaires. You kind of just got to treat them like they're a normal person, and don't let it get in your head that this is some crazy wealthy person or very affluent individual, right?
Yeah, I think it's really important never to discount experience. Experience is the best education you'll ever have, right? I just said in the last episode, we're talking about the School of Hard Knocks, and it really is a university, and it's an education that really sticks with you when you have those experiences, right? The ups and downs of business and life in general. Big time. But years doesn't equate to experience. Because unless you have the right individual who's processing those mistakes and processing the downside of business and figuring out what went wrong, where it went wrong, and what they could have done differently, then years don't count to experience. Unless they're making that, putting their ego aside and take a conscious decision to break it down and reevaluate things, then again, years do not equate to experience.
Well, it was like, I was actually, funny enough, last night I was listening to the Joe Rogan Experience, another podcast I'm a big fan of. And he had a comedian on, and he was talking about when it comes to a comedian to be successful or not, it's not based off how long you've been in the industry, it's how many hours you have on stage. And it's the same goes with pilots.
You're talking about the British...
it was literally he just was on a couple days ago.
I forget his name. What's his name?
I don't remember his name either.
I really like him, but... Sorry.
But so I kind of, when he said that, I go, that's similar to realtors in a way, where I could come on here and say I've got, 5-6 years of experience, and then that's cool and all, but I could also say I've been in the game for 6 months. I've got these listings. I've learned this much. This is my past, and I could kind of bring value to the table in other ways as opposed to years in the industry, right? And that's where I think I have the possibility to succeed in that way, I guess. But yeah.
So talking about experiences, and you outlaid it in the email to me. You've had a few downs. Right, prior to getting into real estate. So talk to me about your biggest learning moments in those other businesses that you're involved in.
It was more learning how to fail successfully and learning from my mistakes in a different way. I found school never really taught you how to fail properly. They kind of punished you for failing, as opposed to in life, it's necessary to fail. Fall down 5 times, get up 6, those type of sayings, right? And in with the agency specifically, that one was, I gathered the people, gathered the clients, and wasn't able to deliver properly. It didn't do the best. Drop shipping, I just, got in a little over my head, and that didn't do the best either. And, I took those failures and went, okay, I did XYZ wrong. In the future, I have to do this correctly and manage myself in a different way. And even in real estate too, like at the beginning section of my career, I kind of just sat back and thought that leads would come to me. And it's like, no. You got to be working countlessly every single day, just consistently, right? And learning how to manage myself, learning how to manage my time properly was just a big learning curve through all of this. And like I mentioned before, school and I did not go well together, honestly. And the first time that I really put 100% effort into something, school-wise, was getting my real estate license. Because now you have to go through extensive exams and schooling for it. And I remember the first exam that I did, I kind of approached it the same way that I would with school. It's like, I don't really need to study, whatever. I'll go and do it. And I didn't fail, but I failed it. I got like a 71, and you have to get a 75 to pass. Yeah. And I go, okay, I gotta push through this, right? Yeah. I gotta do this differently. And it wasn't until the third exam that hit, and I studied pretty hard for it, failed it the first time, and I went like, put my back against the wall and studied like crazy. Went far out of my comfort zone in that sense, because for so long I hadn't done this, so I had to learn how I learned. And I failed it, and that is what taught me a lot about myself. I gave myself 24 hours to feel crappy about myself, and to not even 24 hours, like a little, maybe like 10 hours, but to feel a little bad. And after that, it was, okay, now let's pivot in the right direction. Let's go and approach it this way. And it's the same as I've had clients in regards to nothing huge, but in regards to leases, where they've said, you know what, I don't want to work with you anymore. And I'm like, why? And I had to learn from those experiences. And now when I'm dealing with these plazas and land deals and these big commercial deals, I take those failures in the past and I move forward and I pivot in the direction where, okay, they didn't want to work with me because of this. I failed this because of this. Now I have to pivot myself in this direction. And it's just being honest about that type of stuff and being straightforward with people that I think, that matters.
Yeah, that's the right mindset.
Yeah.
Why real estate? Why how'd you get into real estate?
Funny enough, I was 14 years old when I first wanted to get into it, and my parents were selling their house, and this guy pulls up in a nice car. It's a Porsche 911.
Everybody has this story.
Yeah. It's funny though, because this guy pulls up, nice car, and out gets a nicely dressed man, nice suit and everything. And I look at my dad and I go, "Who's that guy?" And my dad goes, "He's a real estate agent." I'm like, "What's a real estate agent?" Right? I didn't know, honestly, at the time. And so he explains it to me, and my mind was blown. I'm like, you can sell houses and make money for it. Like, holy crap, like this is exactly what I want to do. So I found that interesting. And then fast forward a little bit to around grade 10. This is before COVID hit, when I was in grade 10. And I found out I didn't need to go to post-secondary. So I was like, I'm in. This is it. This is exactly what I want to do. And then fast forward a little bit to mid-COVID, I started to get really into reading and self-help and just kind of understanding business, money, where it comes from, why it goes to all these people, and how to really grow your wealth. And it interested me that most wealthy people invest in real estate. I go, why? So I started to kind of approach it. I started to dissect real estate as a whole. And that's when I go, that is what I want to do. I go, real estate's it. Because I not only like it from the selling aspect of it, I like it from the whole, like the sales aspect, sorry. I like it from the holding, the leveraging, the growth of a portfolio, the growth of wealth, generational wealth that it offers, passive income that it offers, and all these benefits to owning real estate and being in that industry. I found it very interesting. So that was my real segue. And it was like, yeah, the fancy cars, all great and all, but building a business around this. And I treat this very much like a business. Like my real estate career, I treat very much like it is.
Tell me what that means. Break that down for me. What does that mean to you?
I feel like if you were to approach real estate like a job, like if you were to go in, work 9 to 5 type of vibe for it, it's really not that. And from what I've experienced, at least so far, is the most successful people have a brand built around themselves. They not like, of course, at the beginning, you need to leverage your brand or your brokerage's brand, of course. But as you grow in the industry to become really successful, as you build that brand around yourself, you become that. You are the brand. You are the brand. And I'm working on that, right? Like, as I said, I'm very new to this industry, and I'm working on that, but I treat this like a business, because at the end of the day, I don't get paid for the amount of time I'm in the office. I get paid the amount of deals I close. I'm on a commission basis, right? I have to pay my desk fees. I have to pay my advertising fees. I have to pay all my expenses. When I wine and dine clients, that's coming out of my pocket. It's my business, right? And I treat it like that. And I'm forward in that sense where it's my skin in the game. I'm the one doing this, and you got to be aggressive in that sense, right? Where I really do look at it as, this is my baby, this is my business. And that's how I build it, right?
Great.
Yeah.
What's your network like? And where's your network coming from right now?
Right now, it involves a lot of developers, a lot of these like kind of bigger players. I've partnered up with actually the guy that was in the Porsche. I partnered up with him.
Okay.
And we've done a lot of business together in that sense, right? And it's also like, I'm 20, right? I can't really go into my phone and call up people and say, hey, are you looking at buying and selling? Because they're all in university, or like they don't have the money to buy, especially in like right now, right?
No.
So it was more going through my parents' contacts and calling through those and saying, I'm a real estate agent. This is what, and once I got my first listing as well, it was leveraging that and meeting all these people. And now I've met some of the top developers, honestly, in Ontario, and networked with those type of people and like-minded individuals like that. And as well as, since I have my past in the medical side of things, as I said, I've dealt with buying groups of hospitals. I've dealt with some of the top practitioners of hospitals, people that own their own clinics, as well as people that are on boards of massive buying groups, right? So kind of networking with those type of people is what I've found successful, and that's how I've gotten the listings I have now, is just kind of tapping into those and finding the people that own real estate, and they could be wanting to sell that stuff off or leverage and buy some more stuff, right? That's the network that I found, is just, yeah.
So that network, let's talk about the medical people from your past. How are you reaching them? How are you letting them know that you're in this business and you want their business? So
it's all through networking. It's going down the vine, or whatever you would call it, right? It's just finding who knows who. It's 7 degrees of separation, or it's 5 degrees of separation, right? It's really just contacting this person that could know 5 other people, and that person could know 10 other people that I could get involved with. And at the beginning, as I said, I did contracts, so I would go to little clinics, like a veterinary clinic, go business to business, almost like door knocking, and I'd say, hey, I'm with X company, these are the services we provide, can I speak to the decision maker? And I would do that. I'd pick like 15 companies and just go on a loop with them, and end up getting sales and leads through that, and then growing to doing like higher ticket contracts, right? And but the network for the high end of it, where there's the waste to energy, which is a whole, like I could spend the whole time talking about waste to energy. That's a hard network to tap into, because those contracts are upwards of $100 million. They're not small by any means. Like, you go from like a couple $1,000s, and it keeps building up and higher, right? So those ones are big players, and to be honest with you, I can't get into exact detail, but there is places in the Caribbean that we're having talks with in regards to these type of contracts, and those are the players.
In your first year in the business, and I know firsthand, you sometimes will feel like you're trying to catch your tail, right? You got a lot going on, I can tell. It's you're going after a lot.
Thank you.
It's very important to sometimes take a step back and make sure you're not trying to do too many things, and that you
don't want to stretch
focus,
yourself too thin,
right? Yeah. You set 10 goals. So January 1st, like everybody else, they get up in the morning, they set 10 goals after their New Year's Day dinner or turkey, whatever they have. They set 10 goals. Most people don't accomplish one. If they set 3 goals, they usually accomplish all 3 goals.
Yeah.
Right. So what are you seeing as being your focus? Where are you leaning towards? What aspect of the business do you like, and are you assessing that yet and knowing where you want to go?
So kind of like where I'm going to sink my teeth into in the market exactly. Yeah. I think commercial, industrial, medical, I really like. I like the medical niche. I've gotten kind of into that a little bit through my network with another agent. Investments as well, right? Like residential investments. I like the residential space as well, but right now I'm kind of just I'm getting my feet wet in everywhere right now, so I could figure out. Like maybe I'll get into plazas.
It's early.
Right?
It's only 6 months, right?
Exactly. So I've already listed a plaza up in Barrie right now. I have a couple more coming up, like in.
Oh, I don't know why, but I thought it was Ottawa. I thought you were.
No, Ottawa is another project.
Okay.
That's a development itself. Well, it's a residential development. This one's a plaza.
So you're the primary on a plaza listing in Barrie right now.
Yes, that's my listing.
Amazing.
Yes. And that one was an interesting one, right? It's so I might be getting into plazas specifically, and my future goal is to get into the development space myself. I think that's where my biggest interest is to growing a massive portfolio and growing in that industry of the development side. But I'm always going to keep real estate as my career as well. Like that's always going to be my thing. And where I find exactly where my niche is going to be, that's going to take time, right? And as I said, like pre-construction is another one that I'm kind of starting to get into as well, and just figuring it out is my biggest focus right now, right? Is to actually get my feet wet in a bunch of different areas.
Okay.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you're partnered with the guy in the Porsche.
Yeah.
What does that partnership look like? And is it a one-off deal that you're working on, or is he more of a mentor to you? What's the scenario like?
So in a way, he's mentoring me. It's in a way, yes. There's also deals where we're going in on a lot of deals together because he has almost 10 years in the industry. I'm new. And when you're dealing with 8, 10, 15, $20 million deals, there's not a lot of room for error,
no.
Right? And I would feel really crappy if I went into these listings and went, I'm going to learn off of your $20 million listing, off of your $20 million deal. So he's kind of in these deals with me, and in order to teach me how to do things, I'm learning off of him, and we're both like building something right now where he's built his career. His career is very well built. I'm building mine, and then from there, when I get to around a level where he's at, we're going to go in on a lot of big projects together, okay. Right? And move forward in a lot of big things.
And are you doing any type of business plan? Have you sat down and wrote out a business plan for your career?
Roughly.
Yeah?
Very roughly. It's been something that I actually have it in my notes that I need to do it, like fully sit down a couple hours, maybe even more, and write out a business plan. I haven't fully done it yet, though, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
5 years, realistically, I'm hoping to have a few properties of my own, and just really focused in on a specific niche. That way I could grow my business around that completely and build that company, that brand, right? And yeah, as I said, a few investments as well, and just building and constantly growing. And obviously health is a big thing, a big concern for me as well. So growing myself health-wise as well, getting to that not only ideal body type, but also just ideal health category, right? And that's kind of where I see myself in 5 years, is peak fitness and health, and then also on a level where my career is taken off to a pretty healthy amount.
Great.
Yeah.
Is real estate what you expected it to be? You come into it?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
It was something that I honestly did. As I said, I kind of knew that was what I wanted to do from the age of 14, and then transitioned a little bit more, like that was exactly what I wanted to do getting out of high school, right? And I also knew post-secondary wasn't going to be the option for me. I grew up with a long line of entrepreneurs, my grandfather and my father both being entrepreneurs. So I knew post-secondary wasn't going to be my route that I wanted to go down, even though a lot of people think that was really dumb. It was a stupid decision, but I figured if I went to university or college, I would come out doing the exact same thing I'm doing now. So that was kind of my mentality, is why waste 4 years to come out and be a realtor and grow my businesses and get into the spaces I want to get into in the future if I could just do it now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me about your content.
Yeah.
What's your plan here? Who are you trying to talk to here, and what is your strategy?
So like I said before, one of my largest goals is to inspire the youth, inspire people around my age, younger, even older than I am. And make people get up and go, I want to do something. Like, I want to go and do this. Because to be completely honest, there was a time in my life where I felt like I was just going down the wrong route. I was very unhealthy. My senior year of high school, I weighed almost 110 pounds. I'm 5'8" for reference, and I weighed 110 pounds. I was like very skinny, unhealthily skinny, and ate terribly, didn't ever work out, didn't take my health seriously, didn't take my business seriously or my life seriously. And I like I said, I was a daydreamer in school. I was that class clown. I didn't really focus on my future really. And I want to target exactly those people that maybe don't really see a point in doing all this stuff. Like, what's the point? Why am I going to focus on these things? And encourage people to take their fitness and health seriously, take their business seriously. Maybe don't always go through the traditional route, because I know a lot of people have strong influence to going to university, going to post-secondary. Most people don't even know why they're going there. They don't even know why they're doing that route. It's to take that time to understand that you do have that time and capitalize on it now while you're young. And I want to inspire people to do that. That's my goal. That's the reason why I'm doing all of this right now. And my content, I want that to specifically target those type of people, and also obviously people that are wanting to become clients of mine as well, of course, to see what I do. But my goal in life is to inspire people. That's my true passion.
That's great. Okay.
Yeah.
And are you working with anybody, or are you doing all this yourself?
That's all me.
It's all you? Okay.
Yeah, so the editing, I use some... Are you talking in regards to the editing and script writing?
Everything. Yeah, the videos, the sound, audio, everything.
Yeah, so the audio, I got some little mic off of Amazon just for the time being, right? I use a lamp that I had in my room. I take that into my basement, and I have the lighting set up. I write my scripts and just kind of... I do the editing myself as well on my phone with iMovie. And I have an AI to do the captions, and it's all possible to do at home on a low budget too. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you can start with, like, pretty much all I spent out of pocket was about $40 on the mic. I had the phone already. I had the phone stand. You don't even need a phone stand. The editing software was like $20 a year for the AI thing. It's like, you can start this on a very low budget.
Yeah, for sure. That's what we were just talking about, that. People just have to get past the fear of doing it, right? It's don't overthink it. Yeah. Just get yourself out there, right?
Exactly.
The Gary V process.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And if you've got the drive to do it, like, you'll do it, right? It's because I think a lot of people will say, like, oh, it's a lot of money to do this and that. Spend $50. Like, if you've got $50 to spend on it, you can get started creating content. Mm-hmm. Instagram's free. iMovie is free on your iPhone. There's probably a lot of other free softwares via Android. It's like, you can start this very low budget. And
tell me about content. How do you value content, right? Like, talk about specifically your generation. Mm-hmm. How are they searching for things? How are they being exposed to things?
To be honest, my generation, in a way, that there's no attention span. There's almost none. And it's the truth behind it, right? And it's where I practice meditation and reading for those two purposes of being able to focus and just retain my attention to something for extensive periods of time, because that's how you're going to get ahead in life. If you can focus in on something and be driven towards this one thing and really test it out for years, as opposed to, like, when it comes to content, like, people are they're scrolling constantly, and it's, in a way, you have to capitalize on that. So it's creating like something to kind of make people want to stay. Having short form content is, I think, the best, right? And podcasts like this are amazing as well, where there's people like myself are listening to Joe Rogan, Patrick Bet-David, Jordan Peterson, and I'm able to sit and listen to those.
Yeah, I know. You just named everybody on my...
Pretty much, yeah. And yeah, it's like, so... Those are I love podcasts, but a lot of people are just short form content junkies.
Yeah, they get it off Insta. They don't listen to the long form. They're listening to the reels, right?
Exactly, and I think that my content's tailoring towards that. In the future, I'm planning on making a podcast myself as well. And
we were just talking about that, not to interrupt you, but
yeah, of course.
Jazz, who you just saw walk out,
yeah.
We were just talking about that it's a great way for new people in the business to learn,
yep,
and also build relationships, right?
Yeah.
As a newbie, not knowing certain things, or the business as a whole, mm-hmm. bringing on experienced people So you can just sit there and ask questions. Your network is learning
Yeah,
from
exactly.
them, and you're learning from it at the same time, and you're building relationships.
So maybe I'll start a podcast a little sooner then.
Highly recommend.
Yeah. That's that. No, I never really thought about it in that sense of networking with those people and being able to pick their brains. Right?
This 45 minutes here is going to be how many reels?
10 to 15.
Yeah,
Wow.
10 to 15
Yeah.
reels. So that's 15 days worth of content for us, right?
There you go, right? So that's where, that's where all of the youth is that short form content, TikTok. I actually deleted TikTok because I'm like, you know what? Well, I re-downloaded it because I'm going to start posting on it, but I don't watch TikToks because it's addictive. It's terrible. And I find just tuning out from that, I'll create that content because I know it'll sell, but I myself, I don't really like to indulge in that type of stuff. It's bad. It really destroys your
Going
focus.
down the rabbit holes and
Exactly.
get caught up in an algorithm and
Yeah, 100%. And then to answer the question though, my content is focused on the youth and to kind of bring people in and maybe explore a little bit about what my life is like. And I'm going to start posting a lot more content in regards to that. I don't have much out right now, but I've connected now with people after doing the event at Western. I've had multiple people reach out to me in regards to wanting to start their career, what it's like to be in this industry. And it makes me so happy because that's exactly what I want out of those talks, is for people to reach out and to ask me questions and to pick my brain because I want to help those exact people. So yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So I have a bit of an offer and a bit of a proposal as well. There was a bit of debate when you reached out between Cam and I. Cam didn't want to see the podcast get watered down with someone's inexperience, right? So we went back and forth, but I see it as an opportunity, right?
Yeah.
And first of all, my podcast, Limitless, is not just about real estate.
Yeah.
It's not just all realtors on it. I have entrepreneurs on it. It's about leadership and entrepreneurship, right?
Yeah.
And the mindset of building a business, right? So
Yes.
I thought, what a great opportunity. Here's someone that I see having a tremendous amount of ambition. He's not scared to ask for something.
Yep.
And put himself out there. So I saw it as a great opportunity to follow you along, make you a repeat guest.
Beautiful.
Over the course of the next few years as you were building your business.
Yeah.
So what I would like to do is, I already spoke to my business partner, Blair. I don't know if you follow him or not, but Blair is our systems and content and marketing guru here.
Yeah.
Him and I founded the company. So I'd like for him to do a business planning session with you so that you help write your own business plan. And we do that for all the agents here.
Yeah.
So he'll just include you in one of those labs.
Amazing, yeah.
Write that business plan and also give you a day here with Gray Media when we're shooting so that you get some content built through Gray Media.
Yeah.
And then, maybe have you back either quarterly or every 6 months just to check in on you and see how the business is going.
Amazing. That would honestly be incredible. I'd really love that. And it could also showcase like what you guys have to offer too, right? Because
for sure.
That'll be a big, that would be a big help, right?
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, listen, thank you for coming on. I see it as an opportunity for us, not just yourself.
Thank you.
But I have to end with 2 questions. 2 favorite neighborhoods in the GTA?
Favorite neighborhood in the GTA?
2.
2 favorite neighborhoods. I'd say Southeast Oakville.
Okay.
I love that area. I drive by it all the time. Southeast Oakville.
Are you still living in Oakville?
No.
No. Okay.
No. I'm in like the Etobicoke area, but yeah.
Okay.
So, but Southeast Oakville, I love driving by that. And then, I'd maybe say what's Drake's area called again? The Bridle Path. Yes, the Bridle Path. I like driving that or there's a street that it runs Rosedale. Rosedale. Yeah. I like Rosedale a lot as well. So the luxury, 'cause it adds a lot of benefits to being in those areas. The people that are there, right? It's great for networking, but also I feel like you get some peace and quiet. So you could either be in the city in the luxury area, or you could be in a little bit out of the city in a luxury area.
Yeah,
well, right?
for measly $15 million.
Yeah, just a little pocket change, right?
I think they just put a value on Drake's properties like $100 million.
Really?
Yeah. I doubt if you'd ever get that, but last 2 questions are your top 2 favorite restaurants in the GTA.
One restaurant in Yorkville.
Okay.
And then
this guy's an expensive kid, eh?
One restaurant, and then I would probably say, honestly, Chop Steakhouse. Chop Steakhouse, I'm going to plug them real quick. Chop Steakhouse is amazing. They have for a budget, I used to eat at the Keg a lot. Chop Steakhouse blows them out of the water, and it's not expensive. It's you can get a great bone-in ribeye to share for two. Incredible, great sides. That's kind of my go-to. It's the bone-in ribeye there. Amazing.
My guilty pleasure on the chain side, like the commercial restaurant side.
Yeah.
You know, I like Jacob, and I love Barbarian.
Yep.
But my commercial steakhouse is Ruth Chris.
Really?
It's so consistent. It's
I'll have to check them out. Yeah.
It's my guilty pleasure.
Yeah, no, Chop's mine, honestly, for a chain steakhouse. I like that a lot because it's really it's accessible, right? I love that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much,
I
Mark.
appreciate the opportunity to chat with you and to see you progress here in the career.
Thank you. Thank you so
Awesome.
much. That means a lot.